Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I finally decided to get around and doing my Eternals review. I think I watched it like last weekend, but it's been busy doing stuff around the apartment and stuff. And we got a hotel in Woodinville yesterday, so that was cool. Um, so I'm back, and I'm better than ever. Wearing my overthinking hat here. So anyway, enough about my boring life. How about you? All right. So as I said, I watched the Eternals finally, and it was one of those things where like I was dreading watching it for a long time, just because I saw the trailer, I'm like, I don't care, you know, like it's like I try to care about most of what Marvel puts out, but like there's stuff where it's just like I don't care, uh, or I don't really want to see it in the theater or whatever the case. So, but I was like, all right, I'm at home. I was on vacation, so it's like, all right, I'll watch this damn thing. Uh, so, um, what were my thoughts overall? I'll go over some positives, and then we'll get into some negatives and things like that, or some mixed bags. First off, there are 10 characters, basically, outside of the Black Knight, played by Kit Harington, who doesn't really get into his superhero stuff much. He's there, he's dating the main character, and then he kind of just disappears in the background for most of the movie after that. So really, we're focusing on 10 characters. Now, granted, if you were doing like a Justice League film, or like Avengers or something like that, where you have 10 characters, most of them have been established, so you've at least gotten to know them individually, or at least, maybe a couple of them together in a movie or something like that. But that's not what they did here. They decided to introduce 10 brand new characters that you've never heard of, have never been referenced, have never had any place in this universe. So, a tall order for anybody to have to take on, especially in a movie, as opposed to like a series. Because like a series, you could do like 10 episodes and each one could focus on a character. That's what I feel like they should have done with this, was make it a series. Because then it's like, okay, we're focusing on this character, and this is their background, you know. And I realize they're all gods and stuff like that, but like it's just like I feel like it would have worked better as a, like, a lot of times they do a Disney Plus series and it's like, yeah, that would have been better as a movie. Um, but like for this particular case, this definitely would have been the reverse. I would have probably made this, now granted, when anybody watched it, I don't know. I would have given it a chance probably as a series, because then it wouldn't have had to be like watch it all at once. So I think that's, that it was a tall order to try to introduce these 10 brand new characters. And the thing is, you don't really get to know most of them that well. You get a little bit here and there, bits and pieces of their background and how they came about and all that stuff. But yeah, so let's talk about the positives though, before we get into each character and the actor and all that stuff. So overall, the film is well shot. The cinematography is pretty good. It looks very nice. I'll say that much. It's well shot. The acting is decent. There's no one that's like stands out as like, oh god, they were just horrible. Some are a little more wooden than others, but nothing where I was like, oh my god, they were awful. So that's good at least, because sometimes you come into a Marvel movie, you're like, but most of the time it's not bad. So decent performances. Some characters weren't bad. Some characters I thought were fun, or had potential at least. So I liked the speedster Makari. I liked what they did with her, in terms of the speedster powers. The way they, yeah, like the way she ran around. That was really cool. It actually looked better than it did in the Flash, honestly. So that was cool. So props to them on that. I can definitely give you that. Okay, I think that's about all the positives. It's like I said, I will say this: it's not as bad as the Marvels. I think it's a better film overall than the Marvels. Marvel's advantage that they have was that they at least, Miss Marvel is a character that some people like and I like, and yeah, so there's an advantage there. But they were a little more established as characters. But in terms of an overall movie, I think Eternals is a better made movie. And that's not a knock on the director of the Marvels, because I know that she had a lot of interference on her thing, as we mentioned in our previous review of the Marvels. But I mean, the Marvel's just what it was. But so my theory going into this was this is just going to be a long, dredging, horrible, boring movie. And I will say that it wasn't horrible, and it wasn't. It was long. It was definitely too long, way too long, almost 3 hours. So, and granted, like I said, they had 10 characters, and these Eternals, and coming together and being split apart, and all these flashback scenes and stuff like that. And they were doing a lot of real world events and stuff like that, which is fine, but it also just feels like it added to the runtime. And I understand what it was supposed to be about. Oh, well, these characters want to save people, and they acknowledge the whole, why didn't they interfere when Thanos did the thing? Like, well, we were told not to. Okay. You do everything you're told? Anyway. But yeah. So yeah, the length is just really too long. You just kind of like, you get to a point where you're just like, okay, is this where we're at? So anyway, full spoilers for people who haven't seen it. So, I'll spoil things in there. So basically, like I said, they are brought to the Earth, by this celestial being, and they're, basically put right there to take out these deviants, which are these really badly CGI'd animal-looking things. But some of the CGI wasn't bad, compared to some of the more recent Marvel stuff, CGI-wise, but those looked kind of tacky looking. But it is what it is. I said before, practical effects. Good practical effects can look more realistic than some of the shitty CGI that you guys do. So, practical effects. Plus, you're getting more people to work too. And then the CGI people don't have to be overwhelmed. So, anyway, back to me. So, let's cover each character and what I thought of them. I think that'll be a good way to go about it too. But yeah, like I said, they're brought to Earth and they go throughout history and save these things, but then they get split apart eventually. And then, of course, it's more about something's happening and they're starting to notice deviants are coming up and they're not as easy to kill as they were. So there's like a whole plot there, which is kind of what leads us into our modern day stuff. So let's go over each character and what I thought of them as characters, or maybe what their acting performance was. So I went ahead and pulled it up on my phone so I can just immediately go to it. So I'll start with Druig. Druig, I think that's how it's pronounced. Barry Keoghan, who of course, played the Joker, a little bit of the Joker in the Batman, and has been Saltburn and several other movies. I used to actually call him. He's really not that hideous looking. That's mean, but I used to call him Ezra Miller's ugly brother. That's what he's called. But no, he's actually a pretty good actor. I liked him in this. I thought he was decent. His character seemed to be the one who kind of rebelled a bit. It was just like because I think he could kind of power suggesting, kind of mind trick them a little bit, in like stopping them from fighting and having these wars and stuff like that. So he was kind of more the rebel of the group somewhat, as far as, well, I'm not following this crap. This is stupid. We could be stopping this right now. Why are we letting them just kill each other? This is dumb. So I liked him. I thought he was decent. So yes, Kit Harington, like I said, he was barely in it. He was fine for what it was. There was a little after credit scene with the Black Knight, which, the Black Knight could be a cool character. I don't know. I just don't really know enough about the character, so he's kind of there. He's sort of a romantic interest for Cersei, who is Gemma Chan. Gemma Chan, of course, had a very small role as a Kree in Captain Marvel, and she's back as the main lead. As far as her acting, I think she's fine. Her character's not really fleshed out, I think, as well as they could have probably done. And her personality is not really shining through. And that's not an acting performance thing. That's just as far as her character goes. She's just kind of, well, I'm here. So she gives a fine performance. It's just, but her character just kind of feels kind of like, I'm Cersei. I touch things and then some things happen. Some of the powers aren't as defined as well as they could have been. Richard Madden plays Icarus, kind of the Superman of the group. And he kind of goes bad towards the end too, thinking that we shouldn't go against what the Celestials have put out there, which is fair, but and then he flies to the sun just like Icarus, but I thought he was pretty good. He was one of my favorite of the thing. I think he gave a good performance. I think he's a good actor. He played his role well. Then there's Thena, played by Angelina Jolie, who looks like she slept through the performance and barely gave a shit. Just honest. I was not impressed with her at all. I think, and Angelina Jolie is a good actress. She can act. I mean, she was great as Tomb Raider and stuff like that. So it's like, it just feels like, well, this is a movie, and well, the director won an Oscar, so I guess I'll do it. But it's also one of those superhero things, so I'm kind of the knockoff Wonder Woman here, so yeah. But I don't know, I just feel like I've seen her give better performances, and this felt just very like wooden and kind of mail this performance in. It's like, oh, did it fail? Cool. All right, we're on our shit now. You know, I mean, she was all right, but it was just comparing to like being one of the bigger name actors in this. I kind of expected more of an effort, especially with an Oscar-winning director. Let's see, Ajax, Selma Hayek. She was had a smaller role. The big spoiler is that Icarus sacrifices her. She gets killed by the deviants because she started to go against the Celestials. Well, because the whole thing was you had to listen to the Celestials. You cannot interfere in this war. You cannot interfere in this Thanos thing. You know, or you're going against what you're supposed to do, and which they find out was all bullcrap anyway, because they could have easily just said, "Screw you, dude." But he was kind of powerful, so there wasn't much you could do about it. She's fine. I always like Selma Hayek. She's doesn't have a big part. She's more in the flashbacks than she is in most of the movie, because when they come across her to find her, she's dead. So it's just kind of like, well, thanks for coming, Selma Hayek. And then there is Gilgamesh, who is played by Ma Dong-seok. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I apologize for mispronouncing that. Let me click on it and see if it actually gives a pronunciation for his name. He's a South Korean American actor. It doesn't actually say how to say his name. Okay, anyway, I thought he was fine. I liked him. I thought he was. He didn't have a whole lot to do, but he was kind of the strong man of the group. I guess he could be equivalent of the Hulk or something if you wanted to do, or the Thing or something. Gilgamesh, he was fine. He had his character was kind of a protector for Angelina Jolie, because she had this kind of messed up thing with like where she would just like turn on them. Damn, sorry. Throat clutch up there. Sorry about that. And so he had kind of a thing where he would, just kind of her protector and trying to keep her from like killing them all. There was something with her brain. I don't remember what it was, but it was some kind of. They didn't explore it as full as they probably would have. All right, so he was fine. Sprite, played by Leah Mahugh. I've never hated a character so much in my life. Holy crap, did I hate this character? And she was kind of. She would make doubles of herself and all that. I think that was kind of what they're going for her, but her character just whined the whole time. It's like the whole thing is that she's not been able to grow up, and that she's in love with Icarus and things like that. So she hasn't gotten to have like a real childhood. So she's always looks like, a little teenager or something like that. But I just got to a point where it's just like, after almost 3 hours, it's like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Just, could you die already? So yeah, they kill Gilgamesh and Icarus sacrifices himself, but it's like, and I guess she ends up giving up. She pulls the rogue X-Men 3. Well, let me go take this thing and I'll be a human now. Or we'll make you a human, basically. They make her a human. There's no stupid cure thing. They did in X-Men 3. But yeah, nothing against the actor. She was fine. But like, it just, the character just got on my nerves. I'm like, oh my God, please just go away. Can you just go away, please? Then there is Kingo, played by Kumala Nanjiani. He's good. He's pretty good. I like that he becomes like a Bollywood star and stuff. That was cute. I think he's got some good comic timing. He's solid. Then Lauren Ritter played Makari. She's actually a hearing impaired actress. I thought she was fine for what she did. And like I said, I really enjoyed the speedster thing. And then there's Brian Tyree Henry as Fastos. Yeah, he was fine too. I've seen him in a couple of things. He was in that one Godzilla movie. I think he's pretty good. He's a decent actor. Oh yeah, and by the way, the whole big, I remember they were propping up the whole big gay kiss thing. It was just like, it was literally like a peck on the lips. I'm just like, okay, I've seen this in lots of movies. This wasn't some big Brokeback Mountain, moment or something like that. It's just like, where it's like, oh my God, this is so, it's like okay, it's fine. gay and he's married. Okay, whatever. Uh, but it wasn't like this, like I was hearing about them crying and applauding on set. I'm just like, really? I mean, I know this is the first superhero one that's really gone for that, but like, there's no reason they couldn't have. I mean, it felt like a very safe kiss too. Like it felt not that we need some big makeout session, but like it felt very, very safe. Like as in, well, we'll just do this enough of it so that China will still release the film. And it's just like, why? I never understand that. Nothing against China as a country necessarily, but like, why are we so like? Why is Hollywood so beholden to them? Like, it's like, if they don't want the movie, then don't give them the fucking movie. I know it's a money thing, obviously, but like, just if they don't want the movie as it is, then fuck them. It's like, I'm putting a product out. This is what I'm doing. It's like, it just feels like they're going too far to try to please them. So yeah, those are our main characters. So yeah, overall the acting isn't too bad. Like I said, it's not the best acting I've ever seen, but I think no one is truly horrible. Angelina Jolie just kind of feels like her performance is mailed in. She has her moments, but overall it just feels like I've seen better performances from her. So it just felt kind of like, okay. As far as the direction, I'm sure Chloe Zhao is a decent director. The only thing I've known her for was Nomadland, which I thought was a horrible, trifling piece of shit, and did not care. And Frances McDormand did not deserve to win that Best Actress award. Should have gone to Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. Just my opinion. But as far as filmmaker goes, I don't think she's bad. Like I said, the cinematography was quite. It's a very pretty movie. It is very nice to look at. But in terms of, is it the best superhero thing I've seen? No. It felt very much like, and I've never read the Eternals. I have no recollection of these characters from the comics, so I'll be honest on that. Going in, I was completely blind as far as who these characters were, but I don't feel like I was like, some of them were okay, like I said, they were fine, but like, there was no one that I left being like, man, I can't wait to see them in a movie again. It was just like, okay, that was a thing I saw, and they were characters, and if I never see them again, I will lose no sleep. But, it is what it is. Why are you peeking in here? Hi, that's my wife. She's saying hello. She did not watch this movie. But anyway, I watched it without her because she went to sleep. But anyway, but overall, like I said, the acting isn't bad. But like I said, it didn't really draw me in to be like, man, I want to see Eternals 2, or I want to see these characters come back up. It's like, I mean, the Black Knight, there wasn't enough done with him to be like, oh, I never want to see him again. It was like, oh, let's see what the Black Knight can do. That, he's a sword and stuff. Okay, cool. That's all I know about him. The rest of these characters, I'm like, if they popped up again, I would be okay with them being in a movie, like if they showed up again. But it's not like the Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. We're like, man, I want to see that character again. It's just like, okay, well, that person does this and that person does this, and this feels like a knockoff Justice League. But I mean, you have Superman, you have Wonder Woman, basically, you have the Flash, basically. So it's like, it's fine. But like I said, a couple of characters I actually liked, they killed off. So I'm like, okay. Okay, but let me talk about. Well, of course, there's two credit stingers. The first one I mentioned, I think the Black Knight one, and they have Mahershala Ali's voice as supposedly Blade talking to him. You don't see him; you just hear his voice, so that was fine. But oh my god, the fact, and talk about selling out. Seeing that after credits scene where Pip the Troll, which looked about as good as Atari, that CGI looked terrible. Voiced by Patton Oswalt, because, well, he voices everything practically. And then fucking Harry Styles playing Thanos' brother. Thanos, that character that, wiped out half the universe, big, brooding looking warrior-like guy. Let's bring in this pretty boy and have him look exactly how he looks in normal, because he's Harry Styles and some women like him. Okay, he's an okay singer, but like, what does he add? He adds nothing. I don't want to see him in any movies. I don't want to see this fucking character in any movies. There's nothing interesting. If you were going to do Thanos' brother, you need to get an actual capable actor, not some fucking teeny bopper singer that, some, teeny boppers are coming. Oh, they'll come see the movie because he's in it. Okay, well, he can't act, though, so whatever. I don't think he's that great of an actor, so it's like, it was kind of like when Timberlake started acting. Like, I don't have a problem with Timberlake, but like, randomly Timberlake was an actor suddenly. It was like, is Justin Timberlake doing in here? He did okay, but like it was like it's never like, man, we're gonna draw those fans in, guys. Like, it feels like an act of desperation. Like, oh well, it's like it'd be pretty much the equivalent of putting Taylor Swift in a film. Nothing against Taylor Swift, but it wouldn't be because, man, Taylor Swift is an excellent actress and she'll be great at this role. It would be, hey, we got Taylor Swift, come to the theater because Taylor Swift is in this movie. It's like it's almost the equivalent of like back in the '90s when they'd put like a rap star in a movie, but it wouldn't be like like Ice Cube or Ice T were fine, but like when they would just be like, and Snoop Dogg's here, it's just like, okay, seen the movie because he's in it, okay, but it's still Scary Movie 5, and this movie's terrible and shouldn't be made. But that's just what it feels like to me. I just felt like it doesn't feel like, man, Harry Styles, up and coming actor. It feels like, yeah, he's been in a few movies, he's okay, but like I said, he just looked the same. He doesn't look anything like the character that like Thanos' his brother. It just like it feels like such a come down. It's just like, hey, remember how we had that badass Darth Vader character? Here's this pretty boy. He's going to be your new villain. What? It reminds me of like there was this little short-lived show called Werewolf back in the 80s on Fox, when Fox was like a brand new network and they only had a couple shows. And the show was pretty good. And Chuck Connors played this werewolf, and he was like a pirate almost. He had like an eye patch and, looked really menacing and all that. And then like he ends up getting killed, and then it turns out he wasn't the actual head werewolf. It was some really like pretty boy looking guy. And it's like, what? And the show got canceled, so it never continued. But it's just like, it's one of those things where it's just like, talk about a come down. Like, nothing against Harry Styles as a person. I don't know the guy. I'm sure he's fine, but some of his songs are okay, I guess. But just in terms of like, why is he in this movie? There's like, no one is going to come see this movie just because Harry Styles is in it. It's like, come on. I think you're overestimating the draw of people. People want to, like with Taylor Swift, people want to see Taylor Swift like sing her songs or do her concerts. They're there to see her act. Although her playing Dazzler would be interesting, though. I will say that, but just because of who Dazzler is. But yeah. So overall, guys, I would say it's about in the middle. It's a decent watch. I probably wouldn't watch it again just because it's super fucking long. I would have made some cuts to it. Like some of the flashback scenes, I think you could do without. It just feels like tacked on. Just like, all right. I feel like they had something going with the Deviants. How the Deviants were almost being able to speak as opposed to being this animalistic. There was something to go there, but I don't think they went far enough with it. They were too interested in making Superman go bad again, basically. That trope hasn't gotten old at all. Evil Superman, yay! We've never seen that before. I know he's not Superman, but he's pretty much a knockoff. And I've heard the Jack Kirby run was really good, but he was a good writer. But I don't know. I didn't, and as far as the Eternals, I guess in the comics, most of them are white, so they made some changes in gender. Which normally I'm I'm kind of like a mixed bag on that type of stuff. Certain characters, I'm like, no, let's just leave them how they are. Other characters is like, don't really care. And that was the case with this. I'm like, whatever. I don't care if you change it. It's the Eternals. Who gives a shit? Unless you're like a diehard Eternals fan, it's just another Marvel movie, really. There's some humor in there. There's some, overly dramatic stuff. It's fine. It's a good, decent watch. Nothing horrible. Wouldn't be my top Marvel movie by any means, but it's not horrible. I didn't walk out of it being like enraged. It was just kind of like, well, it was just toward the last little half hour. I'm like, oh god, there's another half hour of this shit. Is this over yet? Good god. But no, I thought that some of the fight scenes were okay. Not the best I ever seen. Some of the CGI was okay. Some of it was really bad. So par for the course. So overall, guys, that's my Eternals review. Overall, like I said, it wasn't bad. It's not a big rewatchability just because of how long it is, but like I said, it would have worked better as a series if you had taken the time to introduce these characters. And like I said before, what works, I think has worked for them in the past is like introducing these characters in another movie first. So like Spider-Man and Black Panther both debuted in Civil War, and then they got their own movies. So we got a little taste of who they were as characters, and some popularity with those characters anyway. As opposed to just being like, and here's Captain Marvel. You've not seen her before. Just watch this movie because it ties into Endgame, and then it doesn't actually. But it's like you should have they need to take their time introducing some of these characters. If we're gonna have these side characters become more important, then you need to kind of take some time to introduce them and get to know them, so that we have we get to like them, because if you don't like them, then you're just not going to care if they show up again, That's just, so it's a formula they need to get back to, I think. It's like this, introduce a character here, and then let's see if people like them and they gravitate, and there you go, But anyway, that's my review, guys, so have a good day.